Hey everybody, it's Jay and today we are making, drumroll please, a rainbow denim jacket for Kitty. It's sleeveless with rainbow buttons and it's adorable. So let's get started. So a dear friend of mine called Zoe was so kind to give me her old denim shorts that I'm going to turn into a denim jacket. I'm also gonna use my denim jacket as a reference, and also I use, as always, a shirt that I already have for my MSDs as a guide to make my pattern. By the way, I have a pattern down below in the description if you wanna check that out. It's terrible, just so you know, and it doesn't have the pockets because the pockets were such a hassle and I wouldn't recommend doing those, but I have that in the description if you wanna check that out. So right now I'm cutting out the front piece and the back piece, which is basically identical except for the neck. The neck is gonna be a V-neck in the front, sort of a round shape in the back, and of course the front piece is gonna have buttons, so it's gonna be split in half. I made the front piece and now I'm making the back piece, and I just trace it on the fabric and then cut it out. Super easy. Just like I showed you in my hoodie tutorial for my SDs, what I do is I fold the front piece in half and then I cut the V-neck into it. That way it's so much easier and it's even. Going down from the lowest point, I draw a line to know where I am supposed to cut the jacket front in half. And I'm taking the bottom of the pants as the bottom of the jacket because it is already double-sided basically. Like, I do need to attach it obviously, but yeah, you want it to be folded over anyways. And then I am cutting out the small pockets for the front of the shirt. I don't like how they turned out that much. I would change them next time, but I do show how I make those. They're very, very hard to do, but yeah. They're also double-sided, as well as the collar, which I'm cutting out right here. It's basically the same deal as the bottom piece. And of course, lastly, you also want the hem for the front jacket. I'm just adjusting those a little bit so they fit perfectly onto the front of the jacket. I'm going to sew those in place first, so I'm taking some pins and I'm taking it good side to good side so that when you turn it over there is no hem at all visible. Taking my sewing machine. Once again, you can do this by hand, but sewing machine is just so much more convenient and so much faster. Although this jacket did take me about 4 hours to make. And you obviously want to do this with both sides. And then I decided to make a cross stitch over where the two pieces meet in the front, so you can actually see that hem as like a decoration, and I really love how that turned out. I really recommend it as like a it sort of keeps it all together, and also like as a stylistic choice, I guess. You can use a different color or thread if you want as like decoration. Maybe next time if I'm gonna redo this, I'm gonna use a pink one because I think that would be really cute. So yeah, I do that on both sides, and that just helps it all stay in place, and it looks super awesome in my opinion. So next we want to attach the front pieces with the back piece at the shoulders. So you want to take them good side to good side again and sew those together. Now it looks like that, and we're gonna work on the pockets. What I decided is I'm gonna turn it inside out, so it's good side to good side, and just sew the two sides together, so it's literally a working pocket. But in the end I decided that I don't want it to be a working pocket, because what am I gonna put in there? It's so small. And also I wanted it to have a button, and sewing a button on something so small is ridiculous. So I ended up just sewing it shut with the button in the end, but yeah. Here is where I'm deciding on some stitches that are also just for decoration in the back and also on the side. And here I'm sewing on the pockets. Like, you could open them if you wanted to or use them, but as I said, it's just ridiculous. Don't do that. Just make some pockets and then sew them on, like ones that are closed and look prettier than the ones I did. And yes, I'm doing some more stitches that are purely decoration above the pockets, basically. Here I'm just sewing the sides shut. I don't pin those because it's just a straight stitch. It's super easy to do. Yeah, you wanna sew both sides together. You of course wanna keep the armholes open. So it looks something like this, and now we're gonna attach the collar. And before we do that, we wanna hem the sides of the collar. And here I'm just checking how long it should be. And then I'm cutting off any excess. And I'm pinning that side as well, so I can hem this one as well. Sew that together, and now we can attach it to our jacket. And once again, you want to do this basically good side to good side again, like this. So when you turn it over, once again, there is no hem showing on the outside. This is so much easier than when we did the hoodie, because it's an open jacket basically, so it's not like a small hole that you sort of have to carefully get into, but yeah, it's so much easier to do. Just go over it with a straight stitch. And it looks amazing in my opinion. I really love how the collar turned out. And I'm once again going over it with a cross stitch on the good side. So once again, it's holding it in place, and also I just like the way it looks. I'm doing that on the sides of the collar. And here I am attaching the bottom piece. It's literally the exact same as the collar piece. You just go straight down the jacket and then turn it over, so you don't have a hem again. And I'm once again going over that with a cross stitch, this time on the bad side, so you don't see it as much on the front. But yeah, I love how this one turned out. I love this is what we should have by now, and now I'm gonna decide what kind of buttons I want to use. I have small buttons. At first I only wanted to use yellow buttons, but then I realized I have rainbow buttons basically. I mean, not every color, but almost all of them. And I got really excited and I decided that yes, this is going to be a rainbow jacket. I'm just putting those on the jacket to see where to put them, and then I am marking those spots with a pencil. And now we're gonna sew those on. I have to sew those on by hand, obviously. When you use small buttons, you have to check if your needle goes through those buttonholes, just to make sure that you don't break your needle and don't get super frustrated. And I just go inside of the jacket, then go through the button, go through the other hole, and then I make 3 knots. Go through the one hole and then to the other one and back and forth to sew it on. And when you're done, make 3 knots in the back again. I do this with every single button, and I just decided to cut a few of the loose threads from sewing on the buttons. I really love how this turned out, and now we're going to attach 2 buttons for the pockets, and once again I'm checking if my needle is small enough. And now we're gonna do the same thing with those tiny buttons, and here you can see that I am sewing the pockets shut so I can attach those buttons, and that's completely fine with me. I also ended up using a little bit of fabric glue to sort of keep the ends from fraying, because I didn't sew down like the flap of the pocket, if that makes sense. Yeah, maybe just leave those if you like. If you don't want to like take hours and hours of working on this thing, because like that was such a hassle to do. God damn it, why did I do that? But I do really like the pink buttons and the pockets. I think they do add a little cute touch and stuff. Now I am marking where I should make the buttonholes, and once again I'm doing this with my sewing machine. There's like a setting for making buttons, but I'm just using the normal front stitch. I go around the hole like a lot. I go forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, lots and lots of times to sort of keep it all in place. And once I do that, I use my X-Acto knife and I make a small slit in the middle of where I was sewing, and that is where our buttonhole is gonna be. And once you have all of those buttonholes done, you're done. Yeah, this is how it turned out. I think it can be improved, definitely, but I'm very happy with the result. You can actually button it closed if you wanted to, which is like, oh, amazing. I didn't think I could do that, really. So thank you so much for your support and for watching. I will see you all next Friday, and love you. Bye bye.